Hello everyone, and welcome to my Final Fantasy IV for the PSP unboxing and gameplay demonstration. In my last video I covered Breath of Fire 3. Those are two games I got with from a friend or from a guy who sold them to me for like really cheap. Initially I was going to buy this from him, Breath of Fire 3, and because he also said if I'm interested in Final Fantasy IV, I said yes, why not, because this is great and I just expand my collection right now. So he gave this to me. Both games were like 20 euros, I think, both. So that's a great deal because this has a great value. It's hard to find actually. The original version is hard to find. This was released back in 2007 and he also gave me this, Final Fantasy IV. About Final Fantasy IV, guys, it was it's a classic. It's actually a classic Super Nintendo game. I will put Breath of Fire 3 aside because I covered this in my last video. This game was released back in I don't know the years, maybe in 1994, 1993 on the original Super Nintendo, and it was finally now re-released on the PSP. Or it was released, because this is the Essential version, PSP Essentials version, and this means this game was released on the PSP a while back. Maybe it says right here, I'm not quite sure, 2009 I think, or 2010, and the original game was released 1991. Whoa, that's way back. That's way back. So this is also a classic RPG with fantastic story. You can't go wrong with Final Fantasy and with Square Enix because they make fantastic games with great soundtrack, great characters, great story. Overall, they are like the masters of RPG. I would say at least the Japanese masters of RPG. So if you pick up any of the Final Fantasy titles, any one of them, except maybe 11 and 12, those were a little bit weird, but every other game is a masterpiece. At least for me, Final Fantasy 7 is such a great game. Final Fantasy 8 was great as well. Didn't play Final Fantasy 9 that much, but I heard it's great. Final Fantasy 10 is awesome. It has such a great soundtrack, and of course this is a classic. It is a revamped version of Final Fantasy 4. It's called the complete collection because it comes with the After Years. After Years is basically the game after Final Fantasy 4, and it was originally released only on mobile phones, I think, and now it was compiled in its full glory for your PSP, and this is such a great game to have. Also, if you like this, go get Final Fantasy V, which is also a great RPG. But let's open it up and pop it into my PSP and watch some footage of it. Okay, let's open it up. No big deal here. Here is the UMD as always. This will go right into the PSP. Here is the manual. Again, great manual. Square Enix actually makes great manuals for their games. Very detailed, very nice looking. A lot of stuff. It's an RPG, guys, so there is a lot of info in here. How battle system goes and what the characters are and about the game and. So let's close this, grab my fancy PSP. Still no memory stick, and I'm kinda pissed off. I didn't bought a memory stick so I can save my data, and you will need one, and Sony sells them for like so much. I don't know why they're ripping off people so much with their memory sticks, but Sony products seem so expensive. I was in the store the other day and the PSP Vita costs more like actually PS3, and this is ridiculous, guys. The PS3 has so much value than the Vita. I don't know why they sell it so expensive. But anyway, I popped in Final Fantasy IV. Let's start it up. Great RPG, guys. I also played this back in my days on the Super Nintendo, but I forgot about the story. I think it was check it out. I think it was something around those lines. You are with Dark Knight and collecting stones for your king, and you question your motives, because why are you doing this? And it's all about evil and friendship and stuff like that, but in a great way. It's told in such a great way. And that's there it says, I have no memory stick. You are right. Square Enix. And the story is very complex. In every Final Fantasy game, the story plays an important role. No exception here. The graphics are so beautiful, and the soundtrack is awesome. Basically, as I told you, if you pick up any of the Final Fantasy re-releases on the PSP, you can't go wrong, because there it says Final Fantasy After Years. And the CGI in Square Enix games are breathtaking beautiful. We are putting a lot of work into their CGI and cutscenes overall. Let's just skip this, because I will show you some gameplay. There it is, the complete edition. Press any button. Here it comes with. And I'm back, guys. Sorry for this for the inconvenience. I was running out of card space on my recording device, or on my Canon PowerShot. I'm recording this with camera, with a small camera, so my apologies, guys. But now I'm back, and I will show you what you get with Final Fantasy IV. Basically 3 games, or you have the original Final Fantasy IV, the revamped version, the remade, not remade, but it's graphically improved and it looks fantastic. Then you get Final Fantasy IV Interlude, which is like the interlude to the Final Fantasy IV the After Years sequel to Final Fantasy IV, which was originally released only on mobile phones and is included in this complete collection. Therefore it's called Final Fantasy IV and the After Years, actually. Then you have gallery mode, music selection, and data install. So let's jump into Final Fantasy IV. I will show you the first minute of it. There it is, new game. It has fantastic. It has such a great story. I can't remember it quite well, because it goes way years back when I played this. But it goes like this: you're this Dark Knight Cecil, and you are sent by your king to collect those crystal shards. And listen to the music, guys. So in every Final Fantasy, it has something to do with elements and with crystals. In every Final Fantasy. In this one you collect them, and your main guy, this Dark Knight Cecil, he starts out as the evil guy, and later on he becomes the White Knight, I think, when he's purified. But I quite forgot the details. So Final Fantasy fans, don't be mad at me, just I played the original so many years back, and I played so many games since then. So you have this flying ship, and you collect those crystal shards for your king, and I think the king has evil deeds with the crystals, because the crystals can control the world or something like that. Or maybe I'm wrong, but that's an RPG, guys. The turn-based RPG. It has a very complex story. It's very hard to retell you this. But look at the graphics. They are completely revamped. It's not looking like it looks like a souped up version of and there you can see it, the gameplay. It looks like a very souped up version of the SNES game. There, look at this. This is awesome. What? Great game, guys, and so cheap and so nice. get the PSP Essentials version. This one you can still pick it up in stores, or just downloaded it on your PSP Vita or PS3. But I'm so happy to have this, and this is a great game. When I get myself a nice memory card, I will play this, because right now I can't save because I don't have a Pro Stick Duo. This is a fantastic game. Okay, I will stop right here. Go back to the PSP menu. Okay. And that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this video. And I hope you like RPGs as much as I do. This is the game, guys. The complete collection of Final Fantasy IV. It has a great value and comes with a small price. Right now I only have 4 PSP games, including this, Breath of Fire 3, which is my favorite game, my favorite RPG of all time, maybe. Maybe comes close to Final Fantasy 7. I love Final Fantasy 7 so much, and it's also available on the PSP store. So there is that. Then I have the Third Birthday, which is also one of my favorite games on the PSP. I played this last weekend and it's so great. And Dissidia Final Fantasy 12 Duodecim. This one is pretty complicated. I tried to play it, and the combat is it's just insane. I have to invest more time in this. So those are all my 4 PSP games I got. Let's put them aside. And next up, guys, is Resident Evil 6, which I got here in the background running all the time. I will show you this when I set up the game proper. And I played through this maybe like 15 minutes because it was released today. Just today it was released on the PC, and I got it preloaded on Steam over this night. And whether it's great or not, we will see. I enjoyed it so far. There were some weird quick time events, and I heard this game is loaded with quick time events, but guys, I urge you, if you go for this, also grab yourself a gamepad. This happens to be my Xbox gamepad, which you can perfectly connect fine to a PC and play PC games with it, and it's even recognized by the game itself, because this is a Xbox port actually. So I will definitely post some gameplay video of Resident Evil 6 on my channel. Stay tuned for that. And that's about it, guys. I hope you enjoyed my video, and stay tuned, and if you have any comments or questions, just post them below in the comment section, and see you next time. Bye bye, guys.